Hey guys, I'm Jeff the Homestead Ed, and welcome to the Homestead. We are again working on the RV, the Thor Hurricane 34J. I told you that I wanted to replace the batteries, and that's what we're doing. So I'm bringing you in partway through this project. We've disconnected the batteries. So these are the batteries. I'm going to turn the camera around, and I'm going to talk to you for a second. These are the batteries that come with the unit. They have no serial numbers. They have no amp hour ratings. They have no cold cranking ratings. They've got nothing except for this warning made in the USA sticker, but nothing other than that we can find. It's a little frustrating to me that a unit like this that sells new for 150K plus, they won't spend $600 and put one lithium iron phosphate battery in here that would actually run things better than these two lead acid batteries. So my dad has made a tray. So they've got welded in here a few little pieces of metal to hold the batteries, and then they've got a strap to hold it down. I'll show you in a second the battery that we're going to be replacing it with. My dad has made an insert to go over that, so we have a flat surface to put the new battery because it's bigger. So I don't know if these are both 100 amp hour batteries. I wouldn't be surprised if they're smaller, but like I said, I have no way to know. Either way, they're total garbage batteries that won't run anything in there at this point for more than a half an hour, because once you run lead acid batteries down past 50%, you start degrading them. And if you run them down to like 10%, like they're garbage pretty darn quickly. Whereas with a lithium iron phosphate battery, that's not the case. So we're replacing those two batteries with this one 220 amp hour lithium iron phosphate battery. I think it's called TimeUSB. It was a good deal. It had good reviews. So we're gonna give it a try. It's got a metal case, and then it's got, when I turn the camera around again and I'll show you. Like I said, TimeUSB. It's got these metal handles that are spring-loaded so they go flat. As I said, it's a 220 amp hour battery. It says right on that, battery born for RVs, but it's got two positive, two negative, and we're gonna go ahead and put this in there to replace both of those. And I think this will double the original runtime of those two batteries. Like I said, we're not getting the original runtime of those batteries because I think the previous owner let them get down to 10 point something volts. And once you do that with those batteries, they're just garbage. So we're gonna put that in. Lithium iron phosphate, you can run down to 5%. You can run down to less than that. And you won't get as many cycles of the battery, but it will still be fine once you charge it back up. Whereas once you do that with these, you don't even get the capacity, like you've lost the capacity. So this was pretty corroded in here. You can see my dad's wearing a mask and it's a total mess because we were using the grinder and not a ceramic wheel, that polycarbonate abrasive wheel from Harbor Freight. And we were knocking off as much of the rust as we can. We're gonna spray paint it with rust preventative spray paint. We're gonna let it dry. And then tomorrow we are going to do our best to wire up the new battery so that when we go out west with this, we can actually run the refrigerator and stuff while we're not plugged into shore power. And that's the plan. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and spray paint this. I'll try to show you as much as I can. I have something I need to get to this evening, but yeah, I'll show you. But we just got back from a dinner with friends. While I was gone, my dad painted in here. You can see it's nice and black, covered up the stuff we don't want painted with bags. I'm gonna put the awning back away because who knows if the winds are gonna pick up tonight. So I'm gonna close this up, open it up again tomorrow morning so that it has more time to kind of cure and dry. And then the plan is to get it wired in with I don't know if I told you, we bought a DC to DC charger so that we can connect it to the alternator, but that it will only draw 40 amps. We've read some things that you can wreck an alternator for your car, because especially with lithium iron phosphate batteries, they can take as much amperage as you can throw at them to charge in, whereas lead acid batteries, you can push a decent amount to start, and then it has to back off, and then it kind of floats. Lithium iron phosphate, you can throw a ton at, all the time until it's full. And because of that, you can kind of wreck your alternator if you're not careful. So 40 amp DC to DC charger should protect the alternator, but it should also allow us to charge the battery relatively quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Also just replaced the capacitor on the air conditioner. Seems like it's working. So for less than $50 repair part, and we're good to go with the air conditioner. Life is good. I will see you guys tomorrow when we're working on this. Guys, it is the next day. My dad is on his way over. He's stopping in the barn to grab some hole saws. I will explain that in a second. We just got back from church, and I wanted to show you the difference in the battery size. So the two batteries that were in the RV, the battery that we're putting in the RV. As you can see, that was there. The new battery is bigger. I think it's a little bit shorter, but the footprint is slightly larger. But there should be plenty of space in here for that. I got this piece of white PVC fascia board, and the plan for that, and the reason for the hole saws, is we're going to cut it to fit back in here. The DC to DC charger says it should not be in a wet, splashy location. So we're going to cut that piece of fascia to go along the back so that water isn't coming in up off the street if we're driving in the rain. We'll probably have to block a couple holes, maybe just using tape or something. We do want it to be able to drain, so if water gets in here, it can drain out, but we don't want it to stay in here. So we're gonna probably keep, you can see along the back side there, right there, there's a gap. We'll keep a much smaller gap so water can get out. But we're gonna block off the rest of it so hopefully a lot of water doesn't get in, because this was all corroded in here, which is why we painted it all. So Dad's on his way. I'm gonna get a couple things out and ready to go. It's a little breezy. Right now we've got shade, so I'm not gonna put out the awning because I don't want the awning to get blown away. If you have an RV, or you're thinking about getting an RV, or you're gonna rent an RV, don't put the awning out when it's windy. I guess that's a huge expense, is people replacing their awnings when they get them wrecked, because I don't know if you can just hear the rain or the wind. It's quite windy. Okay, so this is our PVC board that we've notched out. We're putting in the back to keep it from splashing so much. I'll show you when we get it in. Okay, so there's our piece of PVC in the battery bay. He ain't perfect, but he's my brother. It's gonna have to work. So we haven't blocked off everything, but at least we'll keep most of the major splashing out, and we'll put the battery charger on here so that it'll be up off of the ground here. So even if it does get splashed, it should be extremely, extremely minimal. That's the hope. Well guys, I didn't get as much video as I was hoping, but we're done for now. We didn't get the DC to DC charger installed because the DC to DC charger requires that you have a wire from your alternator, and it's a wire that has a little bit of power going to it when the ignition is on. And the DC to DC charger will only charge when that wire activates. And we couldn't, for the life of us, find it. We found the alternator. There's no good way to splice in a wire there. So for now, we just replaced the old batteries that were lead acid with this TimeUSB that has a picture. I didn't even see this. It has a picture. You see this? It has a picture of an RV right here on the front of it. So here we are. What we did, my dad wired them. I had to go get a new cable. So this cable right here was from AutoZone. Because we changed the orientation of the battery slightly, we just needed a little bit longer cord. But what we did was we just took a picture of how everything was connected before we removed everything. And then there were several cables that are right there on the ground that are removed because they were just daisy chaining stuff. So we just replaced it. So we've got this battery in here. Like I said, it's a 220 amp hour, 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery. And I'm gonna let it charge up overnight. I'm hoping that it's charging right now. I think it is. Also got to find the instructions for our Xantrex Freedom X battery charger, or solar charge controller, to make sure that I know that this is actually getting charged and all that stuff. But it's got 13.4 volts right now. A lithium iron phosphate battery, when it is charging, has a voltage of 14.4. When it's not charging, when you take the charger off it and it's just sitting idle, it's got a full charge of 13.6 volts. So charging right now, it's about 1 volt away, right? 14.4 minus 13.4, 1 volt. So we'll hopefully get there tonight or tomorrow morning. I will unplug this from shore power, and then we will see how long that this will run our refrigerator and some of the other assorted things, so we can kind of see what our length of boondocking without turning on the engine to charge this up via that the alternator, or getting some solar panels and extending our time that way. So still considering trying to see if I can, I have solar panels that I've bought in the past. I don't know that there's a good place to store them in here, but I was thinking if I brought them along with me and I made up some cords that went straight into the charge controller, I could just set them here while we're camping next to it, but I don't think I've got time for that. So we're gonna see how this goes. So thank you for watching. If you have tips, let me know. But yeah, I'll let you know how it goes moving forward. But we're gonna say done for now with this project. I'm gonna do some research on the charge controller, see if I can figure out what's going on with that, the wire to turn on the DC to DC charger. But yeah, thanks for watching. God bless you and your family. I'm gonna stop rambling. Love you guys. See ya.